Alderman Ligon. She's had surgery. Alderman Mitchell.
Here.
Alderman Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Parchman.
Here.
Mr. Jim.
Here.
We have a quorum.
If we get approval on a motion for approval of the last minutes.
Motion to approve me.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Can Jimmy tell us about this entrance, about this building? Mr. Harris, would you want to tell us about the park completion back here that we're working on, trying to get started up back up?
Yes, sir, I can. I'd be happy to.
Yes, sir. I told you I was going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, that's fine. Always glad you call on me. This will be the next phase of the downtown project that was approved August a year ago with TDOT, which will finish out the sidewalks on the square and actually some sidewalks up on 49 going up to just on the block of the square, not the entire square, but just going up to Hill Street and back down to Spring Street. And also it will take in some drainage and down at the entrance to Betsy David Park, which will be a major sign going into the park, and there's a big opening where some culverts come together, and that'll be closed in with a concrete structure to kind of take care of all of that drainage and kind of clean it up a little bit before we put it back into the spring. That's pretty much the extent of this next phase. Except if there's money left over, we'll take the sidewalks as far as we go, and whatever direction the city sees fit to go with it. And we hope to bid it sometime after the Irish celebration's over, and we're going to start after that and complete it sometime later on this summer. That's the plan for that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
I'll holler at you again in just a minute.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Going up the sidewalks, there's some cones that have been there for a while. Out there with telephone poles. Is there anything on the sidewalk where it's broken up? And that's the one that, I don't know if that's
That is across the street from Images, where when they did the, I want to say when they did the last water project, they broke up the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't swear that that's when it got broke up, but it's across the street from Images Salon, and I don't know, around the telephone. And actually, that's what broke it up when they put the new telephone poles in, but the concrete was never fixed.
The light company pulled a pole up there, and they were going to fix the concrete back there.
So we probably need to talk to Meriwether.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, just wondering.
Okay.
I'll try and get a hold of them tomorrow.
Okay. Next thing I'll show is committee reports. FAR committee. Mr. Badley.
Okay, the letter that Chief Warren gave y'all earlier is a very good synopsis of what we talked about at the meeting. I do want to say thank you to Chief Warren for his diligence in finding and looking for this equipment. And I think it might be best if you have any questions after you've read the letter to maybe direct them toward him. It's basically trading one truck for two trucks, and the truck that they're wanting to trade is one that we have had some problems with in the past, so if you have any other questions, I think he can explain it better, though.
Before I start talking, you all have any questions from what you've read so far about what I presented today? All right, in a nutshell, it's basically a 2-for-1 trade. We're trading one engine for an engine and a large multi-purpose apparatus.
The truck, not the truck we're trying to get.
The trade is going to be facilitated by Stewart County Fire Rescue Service. So it's government like we did with the engine beforehand. Basically, it's been my goal to work diligently and be as effective and efficient as possible with the parameters set as far as the budgeting for the fire department to offer the services to the citizens of the city. And the engine we have now was purchased new in '97 by the city, and since then it has underwent extensive damage, I guess you'd say, in the past, electrical damage. And since we've been down there, I've spent more money on that engine than I have any one item at all. That includes all gear, fire hose, fuel, oil. It's every day we turn around, there's something new wrong with the engine. But I am requesting that we trade that engine for the other engine and multi-purpose apparatus. We actually have we're going to call it a squad because it is multi-purpose, and that's what a squad is. We actually have it in the bays right now. Stewart County was kind enough to allow us to kind of test it out for the past 2 or 3 weeks. The other engine is being shipped tomorrow to Stewart County from a dealer in Pennsylvania. The other engine is comparable to the engine we got from Stewart County previously, but it is newer, nicer. It's got foam capabilities. It'll have a 75-gallon foam tank on it, so we'll be able to initiate that service on fire scenes. Where before, the big city engine right now does have a small foam tank on it, but it was an afterthought, and the foam pump has worked twice that I know of in its history. So, if you guys have any more questions?
Chief, your Ford, that is a smaller truck, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we have had some pretty extensive grass fires here. That would be ideal, right?
Yes.
Because once a grass fire starts in Erin, we haven't had one lately, but I've seen it come through.
Oh, yeah.
And that would suffice for the grass fire.
It will. The Ford, the squad upgrade has got a 250-gallon tank with a 250-gallon per minute tank on it, or pump on it. It's got a 200-foot booster reel with one pre-connect, so we can run 2 hose lines off of it as well. It has suction capabilities, so we can hook up to any water source, whether it's static or pressurized cold water source or a fire plug, and utilize it in that manner. It's got a 5.5 kilowatt diesel generator on it, so wherever we go, we'll be able to power pretty much the building beside the city hall.
It isn't a four-wheel drive, is it?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It does have specialized front steering tires, they call floats, which does allow it to do other purposes, even though I don't really allow my trucks to go off-road. It's really a nice truck and a very useful truck. Serves a lot of purposes. It contains a mobile air fill station, 4 tanks, large tanks, with 4,500 PSI, so we can fill our SCBA tanks on scene. We do have a cascading system downstairs, what they call the mobile fill station, but that requires having personnel break off the scene and return to City Hall with equipment that's needed on scene.
I'd also like to add, could you explain how this could benefit the ISO rating?
ISO rating, whenever we traded The old 755, the Ford mini pumper, whenever it was purchased, it was classified as a support vehicle or quick attack vehicle, and that is 1,250 points towards ISO. The reason we traded it is because it was in disrepair and we were in need of a backup engine. Luckily, we got a really good deal on that and a really good engine to replace it. But we lost those 1,250 points towards ISO, which is a major loss for the fire department section of ISO. But if we can get this truck, it will service the quick attack or support truck and regain the 1,250 points of ISO. And it would also put us back up to where we are prior to engine, or where we were in apparatus prior to engine 2 being burned.
If there are no other questions, I'd like to add that it was the recommendation of the committee that we move forward with this. But, is there anything else you wanted to add, or?
Not unless there's any.
Mr. Bailey, his last trade worked out real well.
Yes, and you have had 2 to 3 weeks to do some things with that other truck, and I guess in that time you've not found anything that...
We've not found anything. We actually used it on the Elm Street fire this month. It's performed very well. I found no problems with it. There is some slight rust in the body. It did come from Illinois, but it's nothing major. It's actually hard to notice. But we've inspected the truck, we've used the truck. Everybody's really become familiar with the truck, so it seems to be a very well-versed apparatus for our uses.
You make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we move forward with the trade that Chief Warren has discussed.
I second.
Just for the record, that's a 1997 International.
The engine that the city is in ownership of right now is a 1997 International
Okay.
Pierce fire apparatus.
For a Spartan custom cab.
1994 Spartan custom cab.
And
There's a Ford chassis squad. I believe it's I don't have the actual year written down. It's in the
I don't want to
late
put it
80s.
down if we're not positive.
85, it's 1985.
Okay. Motion to approve request to trade 1997 International for 1994 and 1985, and I have those descriptions. Does that work for you?
Yes.
Fine.
Need a roll call?
Who's second?
I second.
Okay.
Need a roll call? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're also starting to sell fish fry tickets for the Fish Fry on Irish Day. It'll be held here at the Fire Hall, basement of City Hall. It's $10 a ticket. And you get 3-piece fish.
You get 3-piece fish, french fries, coleslaw, hush puppies, and a drink for all.
Pretty good meal.
Oh, yeah.
Last year it was really great.
We're hoping one of it this year.
I didn't hear any negative complaints about it. It was really good.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Harris, can I call on you one more time about this resolution water line extension that Mayor Clark's wanting us to do?
Yes, sir.
Then we'll read that.
I think,
I'll get it done.
I already have a copy of it in the packet. I think.
Yeah.
This is actually a county project. It's a rehash of the one we filed last year that we didn't get funded. Now, part of it was funded and we took out, let me rephrase that. One of the roads was funded through a grant that the city got. in that $1 million disaster grant, Rocky Hollow Road, I had included that in that project because I just thought it needed it, and I put it in both projects just in case the county project didn't get funded, and the water plant project got funded, and it was in that, so, because we really needed that Rocky Hollow Road, because it was about a mile, a little over a mile of water line, and it was also to get rid of a pumping station too, a little pump station. So that got funded, and it'll be done this year when we redo the intake for the water plant, and a little bit more work through that $1 million grant that requires no match. So that was good. So this was the county block grant, so I took the Rocky Hollow out of it, and I also took another road out, to Wallace Road, which was approximately 2,200 feet to pick up one customer. So I took it out. It still has, Frank, it had Norris Hollow Road in it, which you and I looked at 2 or 3 years ago. You remember that, where the man put a travel trailer in. And it's got, I can give you the list of roads if you want to hear them. But it's the same ones we had last year, other than the 2 that I just mentioned that we took out. And it is a $427,500 grant, which will require a local match of $22,500 from the city, assuming that it gets funded.
And this would extend Rocky Hollow?
No. Rocky Hollow's already funded.
Okay, I'm with you.
It's got Coleman Loop in it.
It's got Harmon Adams Road on it,
I'll have to look back.
which we really need that.
It's got Coleman Loop in it. I don't mind telling you, I have to look at my list. I can't remember one.
Mayor has the list.
You want to borrow mine?
Jim?
You want to borrow mine?
Brigham Branch,
Nope.
Old Sam Mathis Road, which is off of Brigham Branch, an area up on PZ Ridge to tie 2 lines together, a small part of Denmark Road, Bledsoe Lane, which is out off of Highway 49, Herman Adams Road, and Shiloh Road, which is, I'd say Lori would know where that is.
I know pretty well where it's at.
And it will serve approximately, I remember now how many new users, approximately 33 new users. That's that many houses there now. It may be more than that by the time we get it built, but it's that many there now. And that's a county project that will be funded by the county, that will be turned over to the city, like all the rest of them we've done. And that's a resolution that the city has to sign as part of the application for the county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we ask questions?
Well, sure you can.
Sure.
I'm a little bit confused. The county decides where to put these out of the city water lines, right?
Well, the county actually starts it out, but they have some input from the city.
So they and we,
Yeah.
meaning you.
Yes, we had a meeting actually last year, this time, with the mayor and Philip.
Okay. And you mentioned early on in your talk that this was grant of so much and then so much would be paid.
Yes.
But that would be by the city?
By the city. The city pays the local share because it's all turned over to the city because the county doesn't have a water
Okay,
system.
and the part that we have to pay is water line within the city.
Well, it's water line within the water system because the water system is in the city and the county.
But But we have to pay the,
Yeah, the total match, because the county has no water system.
okay,
They have no water system. They have no way of ever making any revenue on the water system.
and I'm sure this has been the case on everything.
Yeah, that's been the case all along, yeah. That's how
As I
we
said, I
put,
was just confused.
yeah, that's how we put water over most of the county.
Okay.
And,
And of course, we get all proceeds from it.
well, sure, yeah, it's your.
Tap fees, water bills,
Yeah,
everything.
it's your, it's your biggest asset, and at times it may seem like your biggest liability, but it's obviously, you have a pretty much a true county water system. There's no utility districts in this county. It's, your system in Tennessee Ridge has a much smaller system, yes, sir.
Yeah, what's the approximate amount of footage or, that you're adding?
It
And-
is, I can tell you right quickly.
The mayor has it here, Jimmy.
I got it right here. It is it's right at 30,000 feet of 4 and 6 inch pipe.
So about 4-point-something miles.
Yes, sir.
And what's the policy? Do we get a tap fee when you add a new water line like that?
Generally on these, most of the taps are done as part of the
So we
project.
don't get any income off that? So-
No,
Well-
but if there's any, and I don't know about the other roads, but I can tell you on Shallow,
You'll get 6 tap fees off of it to start with. The low to moderate incomes get a free tap. And that's the way it's set up, but there's 33 total, and 27 are low to moderate income, so you will get 6 of those will pay a tap fee.
and then there's potential, usually when you run a water line, it's easier to sell property because they have city water accessible. So any property that's sold after that, any construction, we would get the tap fees from that.
Anybody that comes along afterwards, the low to moderate income is out the window, they'll have to pay a tap fee if they come along and build a house or set a trailer or whatever, they'll have to pay a tap fee then.
Anybody have any more questions? If we don't, I'll read this resolution for, we need to get a motion on the whole works tonight, don't we?
You know, I might say before you read that, Mayor, there was only one water line project funded in the whole state of Tennessee last year outside of East Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
We used to get these projects funded. This is the first time that Houston County ever filed one and didn't get it funded. It was last year. There was only one funded last year in Middle Tennessee and none funded in West Tennessee. And I had one in Bedford County that got funded, and that was the only one funded outside of East Tennessee. So they're getting very difficult to get funded, and hopefully this one, if you so see fit to do it, will be funded. It's getting very difficult to get these things funded. But this, for some reason, didn't fund hardly any outside of East Tennessee last year. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. It says City of Erin, Resolution number 0201-2013, resolution in support of fiscal year 2013 Houston County Community Development Block Grant application. Whereas funds are available through the state of Tennessee Small Cities Community Development Block Grants, CDBG programs, and whereas Houston County wishes to provide water to certain areas within the county within reliable source of water, and whereas Houston County is applying for CDBG funds in the amount of $427,500, now therefore be it resolved by the City of Erin that they provide the local match for the proposed water project in the amount of $22,500, which is available in the water fund, that the City of Erin cooperated with the county in the implement of the project, and that the City of Erin accepts ownership of the improvements at the completion of the construction and the closeout of the project by the State of Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development. Read, adopted, and approved in open regular sessions this the 5th day of February 2013. On the back of y'all's resolution, it has some figures on it. You can look over and see. But if we get a motion to approve this project.
I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Can we get a second?
Second.
Roll call. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Back to you, Chief. Fire report.
If you'll sign this, I'll get you to Jimmy.
All right, last month, City of Erin Fire Department answered 11 calls, 1 accident, no injuries, 1 fatality accident, 2 EMS assists, 1 fire alarm activation, 1 report of smoke, 3 structure fires, 1 gas leak, and 1 mutual aid request. It's been a rather busy month. We first started, our average was 8 calls a month, we dropped down to 5 calls a month, and now we've had 11 this month. Of course, the city-owned property on Elm Street burned. Working on getting a fire report approved through FEMA to give the city a copy of that for records due to it being tied up in the grant. And the fire department wishes to extend our condolences to the family of Dr. Lewis, the fatal accident he had here in town. I don't want to say we got lucky, but it could have been a whole lot worse. And the propane truck was struck, and 2 seconds earlier it would have been struck in midsection where it would have ruptured the tank in the middle of downtown. But other than that, we've been busy. We started pre-planning in the city, which will also help our ISO rating tremendously. I've got guys putting in many man hours to conduct this. We started with the school system, and we're working our way to city and county municipal buildings, and businesses, and we'll start on residences. Hopefully it'll be done by the end of this year. That's going to assist us in everything from apparatus placement to how we fight fires on certain types of structure. Can't say I couldn't be any more proud of my guys and their diligence and the time they're putting in. Thank you all for your support.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Moore.
The Erin Police Department answered a total of 221 calls for the month of January, issued 89 citations, 7 arrests. Let's break down to those. Worked 3 accidents, 1 fatality. We also worked a sobriety checkpoint on February 1st, checked 152 vehicles, and 9 citations issued. Also, we got approved to surplus one of our patrol cars out there. I'm going to hold off on the surplus sale on it until after St. Patrick's Day, in case we have a need for it on that day.
I can if they want to.
Y'all want to, before we talk about one other thing, John, you want to talk about these suggesting changes for the charter? We met with Mr. Jekyll on the other night.
Looks good to me.
Okay. While y'all studying about it, I can move on to one other thing then. We have a pickup truck sitting out here in the parking lot, and the last time Chief Moore asked for permission to sell, I thought it was on that list till I got to looking at it real close the next day or two. I would like to ask permission to sell this white pickup truck out here in the parking lot. It's a 9970. It was a truck that the police department used at one time to catch dogs in. The transmission is getting bad in it, and as many miles as on it. I fear that if we put a transmission in it, the next thing we're going to do is have to put an engine in it.
Let's sell it before. As is, where is,
As is or where it is. Can we get a motion to advertise that on Gov Deal?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now that y'all have done that, y'all want to talk about these charter changes, or you just want to?
Have you gotten any answers as to what has been okayed or what he said was?
Not yet. He's going to talk, Mr. Jekyll said he would speak with the MTS attorneys, and mostly about, there was a lot of discussion, and it was his recommendation that the board stagger their elections, so half of the board, so we don't have an entire turnover in one election. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. He was looking up some particulars on how that could be handled. That was the big ticket item on the discussion. There were some smaller just house cleaning things that I've listed. If you have questions, I'd be happy to go over that. But Mr. Jekyll was going to look it over, speak with the attorneys. He was going to come back and help us with an ordinance to do so, and then it would have to go before the House and then the Senate.
Representative hadn't gotten.
Right.
Representative Tidwell hasn't gotten back with her on it.
Let me ask you something. By staggering the elections, half run in November and half in 2014 and half in 16, which is just to eliminate a whole turnover in one election.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that defeat the purpose of the saving of $2,000 to $3,000?
According to Mr. Jekyll, it would be cheaper to change it to the November general election than
Right.
than it is now, and he didn't seem to think that by us having an election within a 2-year term after we had this one, that it would override of what we was trying to save.
Well, it can't be a swap out.
The only
Because
difference,
you have 2 elections instead of 1.
the only difference would be the first year, and there were just different discussions on how it would be handled. And I think what he suggested that the election, instead of holding the city elections in August, they be changed to November. That's
Right.
where the savings would come in.
I understand that, yeah.
The first year, the way I understood it, and I was a little confused also, but the way I understood it, the first year, we would have 2 separate ballots. When you pick up your petition, to get signed. One would say a 2-year term, the other would say a 4-year term. So you're actually running for different terms. But it would everyone would run on the same schedule after that. You would just say 2016, 4 of you would run, and then 2018, the other 4 would run, or something to that.
City, it's still an election. You've got 4 people running.
It is, but, and I don't pretend to really know a whole lot about the election system, but from what Mr. Jekyll said, if you have your election during a general election, the cost is less for the city.
I understand that part.
I don't,
but,
so.
Lori,
I don't.
now, what he said, there will be 4 of us that will go for 2 years on this next election.
Mhm.
And there'll be 4, 1 for each, on each ward. It's not a fruit basket.
Right.
In other words, Bo and I, one of us will run for 2 and one of us will run for 4.
No.
No, from each ward.
From each ward.
From each ward, yes. There's 2 that serve on each ward. So,
And he said we could flip a coin or however we wanted to decide.
and that's what he's checking with the attorneys to see.
Okay.
He said, well, am I correct in saying we are one of very, very few municipalities in the state
Yeah.
that
Or not in November.
are not in, well, that don't have staggered elections. But he's talking with the attorneys about that, and again, I was lost on a lot of it. I didn't really comprehend the different scenarios that he was putting out, but he said he would check with the attorneys and he'd get back with us and tell us if that's what you all wanted to do, he would let us know how we had to go about doing it.
Gary, he was mainly talking about continuity.
Well, I mean, if it's better for the city, sure.
That
If it's
at least
cheaper?
you'd have some probably around, it wouldn't be like a fruit basket turnover 1 year.
Oh, my Lord.
After the first year.
Do you
We may all
remember,
get beat on the first round.
do you remember one year when, I can't remember where Jim was still the mayor or Miss Legan was the mayor? They had an election and the only one of the board members that was reelected was I.D. Lewis. Can you
I
go?
do remember that, yeah.
That was what Gary Jekyll had suggested to us at a meeting that he and I and Miss Pendergrass had before we had this meeting, is the reason that he wanted to do that, to keep that from happening again.
Well, if it swapped all of them, everybody'd be a total idiot.
Yeah.
As far as the city's concerned. I mean, I am still, but.
It takes you a while, even though I was in police department for so many years, when you come across the hall, it's an entirely different, I'm lost. I was as lost as last year's Easter egg, and still I'm learning. I asked Miss Pendergrass all kinds of questions about things that she probably wishes I'd go get lost somewhere.
Not yet.
But anybody have anything else? Mr. Harris?
I just wanted to remind and share with the council, we advertised the sewer project, the rehabilitation project today. We're going to open bids on Thursday, February the 28th, here at City Hall at 2 o'clock. So we just got it approved with the state yesterday, so we advertised it today, and we'll open bids the 28th. And hopefully that we can award it this time next month at the March meeting. So just wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
Our work session in February will be the 28th day of February at 6 p.m. If nobody has any questions, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
Second, motion second has been made. Can we get an approval? I about forget what I was wanting to say. Let's go home.
Good evening. We're here on the hill, the last game of the season for Houston County basketball for the high school, and playing against Central.